So join us in a couple of minutes' time when we'll be reflecting on that five-star performance by Liverpool as the league leaders extend their advantage. As the league leaders extend their advantage at the top of the table. High fives all round for Liverpool, who've beaten West Ham at the London Stadium. Luis Diaz got the first, then it was Cody Gakpo on the score sheet. The opportunity created by Mohamed Salah, who was on the score sheet himself to make it 3-0. Trent Alexander-Arnold with a long-range effort that took a hefty deflection to make it 4. And Diogo Jota wrapping things up for Liverpool. Comprehensive win for Liverpool, 22 shots compared to just 7 for West Ham, 13 of them on target. None on target for West Ham. The last time that happened in the Premier League was when Everton visited in May 2021. Their XG was at just over 0.3. Liverpool was almost at 3. They had 43 touches in the West Ham box, 6 big chances, and of course the lion's share of possession in that 5-0 victory, in which Mohamed Salah made it 8 games this season in which he has both scored and assisted, and that is a Premier League record. Here he is with Patrick Davison.
Well, Mo, you must be getting...
Well, Patrick Davison said it all. You're the player of the match, of course, because this is an incredible season, which is significantly his best season so far, his most productive season so far for Liverpool. And he's doing it at a time when these contract negotiations, and in part, you know, that's come from him as well, have reached peak interest. What are your thoughts, Jamie, at this stage?
I think to a certain extent, Arne Slot is reaping the benefits of a really unique, strange situation where your best 3 players are coming out of their contract. And they are all playing at such a high level. They're all hungry, they all want to be successful. First thing on their mind is to win the Premier League. Secondly, they obviously want to get their contractual situation sorted out, be it staying at Liverpool or if it's to go elsewhere. They have got themselves in the most incredible position. Because if you're, as an example, talking about Mo Salah, you're his agent, his numbers right now are as good as when he first come to Liverpool. And that's absolutely frightening. I get Liverpool's position because they're probably thinking, we've got a player here that's 32, 33 in June.
Yeah.
What do we do? How long do we give him? You know, do we want to give him he might want a 4-year contract as an example. Right now, he looks like he could play for the next 4 years, but you just don't know. Some players all of a sudden they reach the peak and then maybe their levels start to drop. You think about 2 players that signed huge contracts in the Premier League history, was Ozil, maybe Aubameyang. They signed the contracts, their form drops. I don't see that with these 3 players. Whatever they do, whatever they decide to do, I think they're so hungry, they're so effective, so good at what they do, and it's playing into Liverpool's hands because their form is so good. They are playing at such a high level. It's actually a fascinating situation that's going to play out. I honestly think he's going to end up signing his contract. They're going to have to find some middle ground on what they want because he still wants the top money, but Liverpool are probably a little bit nervous about his age and not wanting to give players because of his age and everything, maybe giving him too long a deal. But because he's playing so well, he's almost forced that issue for Liverpool to have to give him what they want. I do genuinely believe that. And it's the same with Virgil. Virgil was such a Rolls Royce. I can see him playing for another 3 years at this level. Imagine letting him go. If he gets to the end of his contract and you can't agree a deal, imagine how many clubs would want him. Every single club would want to give him whatever they want and to pay him as a free agent. So I think to a certain extent, Liverpool just have to give him. I've said my piece on Trent. Whatever happens there, he's in a difficult situation. He's in a different situation because of his age. But those 2 are just playing so well, and they're making it in a lovely way, so perfect for Liverpool. But they're making it very hard for Liverpool with his contract situation because of how well they're all playing.
We'll come back to Salah, and of course we'll see the influence that he had on this game in just a second. But Luis Diaz was the player who opened the goal scoring. That's 2 and 3 for him now, having not scored in 7 games before that.
Yeah, another player in this front 3 for Liverpool who just, you know, functioning at such a high level. You know, the first part of this is brilliant. The second part's fortuitous, and then the finish is excellent. It's just this first touch. He's so sharp. We said before the game, you know, how good he is on the last line, the turn. He actually drifted out into both wide areas throughout the game. He played down the middle as a 9, but he was able to roam. And that's what got him the space, and it was a wonderful finish to open it up.
So here's what we were discussing at half-time. Did Mo Salah mean this? And he said no to the first part, yes to the second part. So
you called it, so you said you were convinced he didn't mean it.
Well, my gut, you know, sometimes you have to go with your gut, and in the moment, I didn't think he meant this touch. I mean, you made an excellent point about the weight of pass, but this one here, to me, it just didn't seem like he meant it. And the second part, you can tell he has, but it's the balance and the movement and the way he sort of athletically moves his body that he actually just manages to get on the end of it anyway, and it creates this chance for Gakpo. You can just watch it in slow motion. I think he's meant to take it around the front face of his body with his right foot and to get that finish across. He ends up getting a little bit lucky, but the second part is so instinctive. He manages the little nutmeg, which moves it into the path of Gakpo.
It obviously did, because he didn't mean it. Reminds me a little bit of when the great Dennis Bergkamp did that bit of skill on Dabizas when he was playing against Newcastle.
Definitely meant that.
No, but I remember saying to him, because it was to Thierry Henry, I said, Thierry, what was your view on that? He said, yeah, because it was Dennis Bergkamp. Of course he meant it, because he was the only player that could do such a skill. But there is an argument to say, well, did he actually mean to do it in the way that he did? But because he was so talented, of course he did. And that one was a strange one. And I think you're right, Izzy. It was a bit scruffy, wasn't it? But because of the player that he is, you think, did he mean it, didn't he? But it was obviously so effective.
Yeah.
You mentioned Mohamed Salah and the sort of length of his Liverpool career and how well he's performed in each of those seasons. He's up to 20 goals again now, and he's done that in every single season, Jamie.
Yeah, this was one of those where he's just reversed it. The keeper, I think, should say this. But Liverpool was so aggressive at that point, so pressing high up the pitch. You've got Jones, you've got McAllister winning the ball high, and then once you get it to him, you know, he finds that bottom corner. The keeper should do better. This is the best angle for what the keeper does. He gets such a good left hand on it. It just goes under him. But another goal and another big moment for him.
And those numbers that you were talking about, there they are in blue and white. Mohamed Salah, and the number of appearances taken to reach those 20 goals. I mean, this is his joint second most effective season in terms of goal scoring. We talked about his effectiveness in terms of goals and assists. This is purely on goals.
And that was in his first season, Kelly, and this is in his last season. So it just shows you that, hopefully not his last season, but this is just the level that this guy's playing at and the numbers that he puts up. And that's why I say he is, whether he's the best, that's everyone will have their own argument on it, but the most effective, because those numbers are just frightening. It is absolutely frightening. What you showed a minute ago, a goal or an assist every 50 minutes. Imagine having that in your team. Some people, you know, you're looking for, can we get one goal as a team? He's doing that on his own. It's frightening what he's doing at the moment, isn't it?
And what it does as well is it embeds belief in the squad, because if you are behind in a game or, you know, the game's tight, there's that belief always that you get the ball to Mo Salah and he'll create something, he'll make something happen. And the other thing it's doing is it's creating competition in the squad. You go in like the likes of Gakpo, Diaz, Nunes even, who's a little bit off it at present. But it says to them, this is the level now. And you've got to hit that, and you can see what it's doing to Gakpo in particular. It's raising his level. And it's saying, well, Gakpo probably wants to do what Mo Salah's done at that football club.
And he's so fit as well.
Yeah,
he's every now and again he takes his shell to show us that, embarrass every man out there. But he's completely ripped. You know, he's not going to put on weight. He's not all of a sudden going to go, I've got my new contract now, I'm going to sit back. He's going to want to do this for another couple of years to keep proving everybody right. But he just wants to show what he can do. He's a phenomenon, the guy. He's absolutely incredible.
The fourth goal came from a long-range hit by Trent Alexander-Arnold, which on second look had quite a hefty deflection.
Yeah, but if you look at his position here, he's got licence to roam, and yes, he's very, very lucky. Yes, he can hit these from distance, and they don't need a deflection to go in. We've seen that with Trent Alexander-Arnold. But it's when we're talking about Slot and the tweaks he's made, and what he's done with Trent is he's given him licence to go that far in field, to then get himself into a position where he can shoot from there, because he's got the ability and also he's got the angle on it, and he hits it true. He's lucky with the deflection, but it's no surprise, again, a player in form getting on the score sheet for Liverpool.
5 different goal scorers in this game as well. We talked about other title challengers maybe not having the sort of sharing out of goals. Liverpool had it in this game. With Diogo Jota coming on and coming back to full match fitness, does that indicate the sort of variety and the strength and depth of Liverpool's squad?
It's another player you can add into that bracket that's going, well, Salah's setting the standard in terms of his numbers and his output. And Jota's, you know, he's in and around Gakpo in terms of trying to follow up. I think that's his 6th goal this season, Jota. Coming back from injury, he's been out for a couple of months, and we've heard Arne Slot say that he's going to sort of drip feed him back in. But having that option, of Jota coming in, and he's probably ready to start now, Diogo Jota. But again, finish across Areola into that far corner. I mean, Jota in front of goal, you never think he's going to miss. He always looks like he's going to score. He's fantastic.
That's what you got, Izzy. You've got that. I wouldn't say it's competition replaces, but you've got people that can come onto the pitch and get you a goal or an assist. When you've got Jota, and Nunes obviously wasn't involved today, but you can players that can just give you something else, and they're not coming on with they're not coming on sulking. They're coming on with a point to prove. And that goal was obviously a really good finish. But what Salah does in the middle of the pitch, first of all, when he just drags it away, and he's, even people talk about age, he's still running away from people with the ball. Nobody can get close to him. So no, it was absolutely amazing today.
5-star performance then from Liverpool. We'll talk about what that means for the title race, and we'll get Arne Slot's thoughts on it next. Arne Slot will be top on New Year's Day. He's only lost one of his last 38 league games with both Feyenoord and Liverpool, and he's now talking to Patrick Davison.
Arne, another seriously impressive performance from your team. How much did you enjoy it?
A lot, but it's because it doesn't happen many times that I could just sit back and enjoy. And I thought it was the situation that against Tottenham when we were 5-1 up, but that they came back to 5-3. But today we kept control over the game and won with 5-0.
Do you feel like you've gone up a gear in the last few weeks? You mentioned the Spurs game where you scored 6. I don't know, maybe since the week of Real and City, do you feel like you've found another level as a team?
I think it's always a bit in a season. We've spoken about before the game about conceding the chances. Today, I think we conceded 2 or 3. One hit the bar, one hit the post. So and Leicester got 2 chances and scored 1. So that is a bit also in attack. So I think during the whole season we've created quite a lot of chances. And now, like on a day like today, we scored many. Although I said to the players just a second ago that it was 3-0 at half time, but it wouldn't have been weird if after 10 minutes it would have already been 3-0 because we created a lot of chances today.
Hard to think of new Mo Salah questions for you, but I mean,
contract.
well, we'll leave that to the end. Is he the best player in the world at the moment? Do you think he must be close?
If you look at his numbers, you can't argue that. But there are different players playing in different leagues, so that have a lot of quality. But Mo is definitely up there at the moment. If you look at his numbers, but also like today, he could have even scored more. But I also liked again his work rate for the team without the ball. So yeah, he's in a very good place. You can't argue about that. And let's hope he can stay like this for a long time.
In a team sense, everyone will pick out different things. What did you like most today?
The way we played with the ball, the way we positioned ourselves, the amount of chances we created, the control we took over the game. In an away game, it's always difficult because there were I think 2 or 3 minutes in the game where we lost a few easy balls and immediately defense were behind the team. So to control an away game is not always easy because the fans don't always need a lot to be happy about if they play Liverpool. But I don't think we gave the West Ham fans a lot today to cheer about, and that was the most positive thing.
So obviously this is the last game of the year. Give us Arne Slot's review of 2024 from a personal point of view. Obviously began with you in Rotterdam, manager of another big club in Feyenoord, ends with you, manager of Liverpool, top of the Premier League. How would you sum it up for yourself?
Yeah, as a great year. So working at a great club at Feyenoord, I was wondering, can I find another club where I can even have a better time now? At the moment, I can say it's definitely not less or not as good as my time at Feyenoord. It's probably even better because it's special to do this in another country as well. Great players to work with in both teams. And a whole year with only 1 loss.
Is that right?
And that was Nottingham Forest.
And they're second now.
And they are second now, yeah. So it's been a good half season at Feyenoord, and it's been a good half of a season here at Liverpool.
So you won a league with Feyenoord. What is the key to seeing it through?
Consistency. Enough challenges will come ahead of us, starting with Man United at home, which is a big game. Even if you don't look at the league table, it's already a big game, let alone you want to keep your lead as long as you can. So I think it's 9 games in the month of January if you include the 1st of February, which is of course not January, but you know what I mean. So many games are played. You saw today again injury of Joe Gomez.
How is he?
If a player says he wants to stop, he has to be changed in a sprint. Then we all know it's a hamstring, and we all know it's going to take a while before he's back. I don't know how long, but he will be out for quite a bit. And these situations can happen in the season. So a long way to go, but a very good first half year.
So should we do the contract question now?
If you want to. You already know the answer.
Yeah, of course. I just wondered.
Maybe I can ask the question and you answer it.
Well, go on then.
What about Mo's contract?
Well, I mean, he's just been in to talk about it.
I always answer. We don't talk in public.
I didn't get a joke. Sorry, I'm a bit slow.
Yeah.
But does much change in January for the outside world? It kind of feels like it does. You know, they can speak to other clubs, but does it on the inside?
Not on the inside, but on the outside, it definitely does, because probably even people talk even more about it. Not only about these three, but also about other players, because it's always a month where players can make a transfer as well. So it's not only this upcoming month about the three. Probably it's going to be about the ones we bring in, or the ones who could also leave. So that is always the thing in, I think it's somewhere around August, and the thing in January.
Is Trent the biggest worry? Sorry to ask a second one, but with the other two, it just feels a bit more positive. We saw Trent's celebration today. The mood music around him feels a bit more negative.
No, I don't think it's negative at all. He's playing really well, scored a great goal, and the way he celebrated his goal probably tells you enough. So I don't think I have to say much more about it. I'm really happy with Trent, just as happy as I am with Mo and with Virgil. So for me, there's no difference. For the outside world, maybe there's a bit more things happening around Trent in the media than with the other two. But yeah, I'm happy with all three of them at the moment.
Expertly navigated, as always. Happy New Year.
Right, too. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's been an excellent 2024 for Arne Slot. It's not been too bad for Liverpool either. They missed out on the Premier League title, but they were top on New Year's Day. They beat Newcastle 4-2. Mohamed Salah scored in that game, and that's one of a number of occasions on which Liverpool have been top going into the new year. And they spent 162 days at the top of the table in 2024. Now, obviously, none of that matters apart from being top on the final day of the season, and that was Manchester City this time around. But when they've been top of the table on January the 1st in Premier League history, the only time they won it was in 2019-20. Previous seasons, they finished somewhere between second and fourth. On this occasion, with that 8-point gap to Nottingham Forest, they've played a game fewer than Nottingham Forest. It's a 9-point gap to Arsenal, who play again in a couple of days' time. What do you think their chances are this time around?
Yeah, well, they've got a great chance. You have to just look at the circumstances in and around it. You also have to remember they've played 18 games, lost 1, drawn 3. That's a phenomenal record, whether Man City are at their best or not at their best. You need situations to go your way, a little bit of luck along the way. Liverpool fans will point to the fact that we've also had injuries. But when I talk about there's a few players that are almost indispensable, you can't deal without them. And Saka would be one of those at Arsenal. So when you see that Bukayo Saka picks up an injury, looks like he's going to be out for a couple of months, you look at that and think, you don't want to see anybody injured, but that is certainly going to help Liverpool's cause. Manchester City, their demise has obviously helped Liverpool's cause. But I will also say a lot of credit has to go to Liverpool as well. Well, all of it, because they've been phenomenal. You have to ask the question. You have to be ruthless, relentless, and that's what everything they've done. When the new manager came in at the start of the season, I thought, yeah, you know what, Liverpool, as a fan, we'll take top 4. I think that would be a great start for him. You're following an icon in Jurgen Klopp. How difficult is that going to be? He's made it look seamless. He's made it look so easy. It's been effortless for him. He's a cool guy. He doesn't look like he's trying too hard. Talking a lot of sense to football fans. Doesn't insult their intelligence. He's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, there's so much to like and admire about Arne Slot. The way he interviews, his presence. It seems to have a real calming influence on the team. There's times where they've had a fantastic start to the season. And there was the week they played Real Madrid in the Champions League. They played Manchester City and followed it up with 2 wins. And that was the week where everyone was pointing at, going, oh, well, let's see how they do here. But they were fantastic. And the way they beat Real Madrid at Anfield, they went on to beat Manchester City, which almost began the demise of Manchester City, if you like. But there's so much to like about him. And he spoke in that interview with Pat there about control of the ball. But you look at the possession stats in a lot of the games this season, And they've actually not been through the roof in terms of they've not been 60, 70%. They've been around sort of 50, 55%, I think 55 today. And that's not huge. That means West Ham had 45% of the ball. But what they do is they give the opposition enough to make it open enough for their players to exploit. And we spoke about the forwards, the Jotas, the Salahs, the Gakpos coming on, Trent coming forward, Andy Robertson getting forward, and the spaces that opens gives them enough to do their magic. And I think what Slot's got is a nice balance of control. They've gone from heavy metal football under Jurgen Klopp to the way they're playing now. And to me, it's easy enough to say that I will be very surprised if they don't win the title, because of where they're at now and the way they're playing and where they go. And like you say, if there are injuries, you don't want injuries to happen to any footballer. But if Liverpool were to lose 2 or 3 key players, then they're going to be challenged like other clubs have this season already. But for now, they just look like they're rolling in a very good direction.
Long way to go. Liverpool not quite at the halfway stage of the season, but things are looking good at the top of the league. Less so at the moment for West Ham and Julian Lopetegui. We'll get the Hammers boss thoughts next. West Ham were on a decent run of form, but they were unbeaten in 4 before they faced Liverpool and lost by 5-0. Let's hear what Julian Lopetegui made of it. He's with Pat.
Well, Julian, obviously really disappointing to lose like that, especially at home, even against a team as good as Liverpool. How would you assess your players' performance today?
No, the first of all is we are very sad for our fans above all, because we are disappointed for sure in the way that we lost. You can lost. It's true that we are talking about the best team in the Premier League and one of the best team around the world, but I think that we can and we have to do other face above all at home in front of our fans. That's why I am very, very sorry about this. I'm very sad because it's true that today I have to see the match again, but we had one moment in the start after they had the first chance, before we have one chance, very clear chance, and after we can draw the match with more kudos, but it's true that they deserve more. And in the half the match was gone, so he has been a tough day for us, yes.
So what was particularly disappointing about the way that you lost the game? Not enough fight from the players?
No, I think that today we have been very far of them in all the things about with the ball, without ball. We can do better. We have to do better in both situations and to compete better today against this kind of team. You can lose, but it's true that if you are not able to stay in the competitive frequency that they demand you, it's very difficult. So we have to look forward, but don't forget this day.
How did Mo Salah find himself in so much space? He's obviously a top player, but you were aware of that. You put Wan-Bissaka left back, I guess, to deal with it. Were you really disappointed with how much room he found himself today?
No, Mo Salah is at the moment one of the best players, even the best player around the world. I think that we were thinking to defend him one right player, because normally he play with his left and try to keep. But it's true that it's not about one player, 2 players. I think that all of them they overcome us, and it has been a bad day for us for sure.
There were boos from the supporters at half time, and I'd say quite a lot of empty seats by the end. Do you understand that frustration from the fans? They're obviously not going to enjoy seeing their team lose like that.
Always. The fans always are right, and we understand them for sure. After one match at home, and with this disappointment that we have, for sure that we understand them. Yes.
How would you sum up these first few months for you as West Ham manager? Have you found it difficult to make the impact you'd have liked?
No, we are trying to do our best every day and to be able to become better team. Sometimes we achieve this, sometimes no. I think that we can, and we have to do better above all in this kind of matches at home. Now we have all the second part of the season. We had the last 4 matches really well. We did well. And today is a bad day, and we have to recover.
So do you feel confident going into next year that you can affect this team, get them playing, your football, your idea, better than we've seen in the first few months?
Okay, today is not the moment to talk about the football idea. Today is to say sorry to the fans and to go tomorrow to work hard and to look forward.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Cheers.
Well, Lopetegui not wanting to look too far ahead, just to reflect on that 5-0 defeat, but they're in 13th place in the table. They're 9 points clear of Leicester and the bottom three. What you can say about this performance against Liverpool, as Julian Lopetegui did, is that it's against the team that are top of the league, that are one of the best teams in the world at the moment. But their results are not necessarily, where they end up at the end of the season is not going to be determined by beating teams like Liverpool. It's going to be determined by beating the teams below them, which is a good thing, because their record against teams above them is not good.
Well, the more games you lose, the lower you're going to go in the table, the more teams there are above you anyway, and you have to get results somewhere. And I think the West Ham fans will be disappointed with where they're at now. I think, yes, today is a bit of an anomaly in terms of you playing against a team that just looks like they're going to beat anyone at the moment in Liverpool. But there were a few bits in today where I thought, hang on a minute, they're not getting up to the ball tight enough. I don't think there was a lack of fight at all, but I think what the West Ham fans want to see is a style of play, and that's why they changed manager. David Moyes did an excellent job, and it's probably how good of a job we've seen David Moyes did. Now he's gone. Now he's not there, and I think that they've wanted this new style. They've got some fantastic footballers in their squad, but they're not necessarily finding that consistent gelling together of performances. And I thought the first half today, I thought they were okay. I think they hit the post. Kudus hit the post at 1-0 to Liverpool, which could have been different, could have changed the dynamic of the game. But overall, I thought they were far off it, and 5-0 was probably it could have been more.
There've been some shaky moments for Julian Lopetegui so far this season. In terms of this result, yes, as Izzy said, that they could get beaten by Liverpool at any moment. But did they do enough as a team against Liverpool to kind of reassure West Ham fans?
No, not really. The manager was pretty honest in his assessment there. I think he realises that they're off it. And I said before the game started that it feels like the West Ham fans have got to fall in love with the manager, and to make that happen and to get a connection, you need big wins. Certainly at home, they've been chinned a couple of times. Arsenal came here, scored 5. Obviously today you don't want to be conceding that many goals, and that's not something we normally associate with West Ham. They're normally in the game, they make it difficult. Jared Bowen's picked up looks like an ankle injury, might be out for a little while. When you need him, he's your captain, your talisman, and when he doesn't play, you really miss him. So it is tough times, but I guess you've got to hang in there as a manager. There was a few weeks ago, there was murmurings about maybe changing him. He had some good results. Now it's a case of, this is a period where you've got to make sure you get some wins, and you've got to, you're almost fighting for your job, which is always going to be the case when you're losing, bad results. And I think West Ham probably looking at it and think how much money they've spent and invested, they want more for the outcome. But it's like anything, Kelly, you change the manager, you have to give the manager time. And sometimes if you let him have time, it can be a success. It doesn't always work that way. But the quickest thing to do is, a lot of times we just see it, they sack someone and think, well, that's going to be the answer. Yeah. But it doesn't always work. That doesn't always work either.
But when you look at the quality that they have, particularly their forward players, are they getting enough out of them, do you think, Izzy?
Well, I think in a game like today, the moments for West Ham came, when they won back possession, they attacked quickly. And they've got players that can do that. Bowen's quick on the transition, Kudus. I don't think Paquetá, again, got in the game at all. And he's a player who can be really effective. Players absent today, Souček. I'm drawn towards Souček, and Souček's an interesting one because he's always quite effective, really effective, but is he that player who wants to play through the lines that, Lopetegui seems to want to do? He wants to play through the thirds. Obviously signing Wan-Bissaka's got forward a lot. He was taken out of his familiar role today at right back, where he's got forward a lot this season, to go and play left back to deal with Mo Salah. So there's been a few tweaks, and I think, you have to park today and move forward, but I don't think it would be different to say West Ham fans will want to see consistent in terms of the style of football and move through the thirds with the ball and start climbing the league, because ultimately, like you say, the investment in the squad has been there, and it's a massive club.
What should their ambitions be for this season, do you think?
Right now, I mean, you don't seem really, with the squad and the way that the things are going, you don't look at them as being a team that can get into Europe. But I think what they've got to be looking at is a team that's just gone into second and they do an incredible job in Nottingham Forest. That's a great example to everybody. And I think what I like about them the most is they're not doing everything the conventional way. You don't see them always playing out from the back and taking risks. they're being quite direct, but he's working with what he's got given. He's got a team that are a really strong, powerful side, great on the counter-attack. Let's use that to our advantage, and they're beating everybody that's put in front of them at the moment. There's only one side that's beaten Liverpool, and it was Nottingham Forest. And I think that's where sometimes you can get carried away thinking we've got to play this style of football like everybody else. You haven't. You've got to play with the players you've got. And that's why I think they're being successful. Bournemouth are so successful because they don't necessarily play it. They're an aggressive, energetic side, and I think that's what West Ham might have to look at.
Yeah, the table's got a very 80s look to it. Last
It really
time that
has,
Nottingham
yeah.
Forest were in the top four was when they were managed by Brian Clough in 1987-88, or last time at this stage of the season, rather. Still big game to come as part of our weekend of coverage. The Monday night football is Manchester United against Newcastle, 6:30 for all the build-up and a reflection on the weekend's action on Sky Sports Premier League. But from us, from the London Stadium, bye-bye.